Would love a video to you showing or debunking audiophile things using measurements, things like quality audio cables, driver break-in, power conditioners, etc. So here's the thing: all of those can matter. The problem is how much they matter and should they matter. So first of all, it shouldn't matter what cables you use. It shouldn't matter what power conditioner you use or surge protector you use, and break-in shouldn't matter. Break-in tends to be more prominent with suspension related things like subwoofers or mid bass drivers. Break-in really tends to, from what I know, and let's pretend like I know nothing, right? From what I know, the glue is one thing that can be pretty critical. I know I've been doing this for a long time. I know a lot of manufacturers that actually design drive units, and there's been a couple guys that I've talked to that said when they came out with some mid bass designs and kind of close to the side of subwoofer, that the glue for the spider to the voice coil was kind of a problem. Now, that said, my thing is, and I've read this elsewhere, so I don't honestly don't know if I thought of this or if I read this a long time ago and I think I thought of this, right? But it doesn't matter. The point that I like and I kind of harp on a little bit here when it talks about break-in is, well, if a speaker's going to break in and it's going to take 50 hours to where it sounds good, what happens after 50 hours? Does it ever get worse? Right? Does it always only get better? Does it ever get worse? And these are things that like any person with a rational brain should be able to think and go, "Oh, yeah, that's kind of weird." Right? Now again, we're talking about materials and mechanics of materials. Some things do change. But for the most part, I wouldn't worry about anything unless it's a subwoofer with a lot of stroke, maybe a mid bass driver, something like that. For tweeters and things of that nature, I mean, as soon as you hit it with the first burst of music, it should be broken in. If you're talking about cables, some brands will do things to cables to make them sound different. You shouldn't do that. You're talking about power conditioners. Some brands will do things to power conditioners to make them sound different. You shouldn't do that. If you're attempting to change the sound on purpose to get people to think that there's a difference in what they're hearing, in order basically to validate what they're hearing, I don't like that. I think that you really should only just be trying to amplify the signal. You know, it should be signal in, signal out. And at the end of the day, we as the consumer, if we don't like a track or don't like a mastering or a mix, then we can try to do something on our end via EQ, or we go try to find a better master. And that's why there are remasters all the time. I have videos about this. There's one particular gentleman who didn't even know that there were remasters, and he makes videos talking about setting up $100,000 stereos. And I'm like, how do you not know this? So it can be news to anybody, and it may be news to you, but keep that in mind, you know, and maybe the same thing goes for like Spotify. Like if you're jumping over from Spotify to Apple Music and you're listening to the same song, you're like, wow, these sound completely different. It must be the bit rate. Probably not. It's probably that they use different masterings. And you have to dig a good bit to understand or to know what masterings they're using. Some of them will find it or make it kind of easy to find. But sometimes it's not entirely easy to do that. I've got a whole, like, I don't even know. I've got a whole lot. We're talking in the hundreds of Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs remasters of different albums. Some of them sound better than the original CD pressing. Some of them don't. There's some that Tears for Fears shout. There's a drum at the beginning of the track, and I can't remember which way it is, but in the original version, there was a note that the drums were switched on purpose. And then I think it was the MFSL version where they switched it back because they thought it was supposed to be switched back. That's a difference. Like that's a real audible difference that you go, the heck, that ain't, why is it, are my wires reversed? What's going on here? No, it's because the master and the remaster were different. And it wasn't really supposed to be that way. So you can even have human error when somebody is just remastering something, taking the mix and swapping channels by accident. That kind of stuff happens. And honestly, to me, that is the stuff that is really interesting about this hobby of ours is, you know, we're buying all these speakers and stuff, but we have no idea what's going on in the control room, or when somebody gets a, their analog tape and they're remastering it for this new company. We have no idea what's going on, but yet we're going to argue about cables. Like, all right. So that's the problem with this argument stuff, right? So there's nuance to everything. I could take one speaker, blast it, test it, and get different parameters than if I blasted it later. Matter of fact, I've got data on my website that shows the cold TS parameters just from a simple little 1 volt measurement look a lot different for some speakers, some drive units, because maybe the drive unit design isn't that good, with more power on them. And the way that enclosures should be built is based on when the speaker is being driven with a larger signal, or maybe a lower signal, but for a longer period of time. And you can do that with clipable measurements, but it's not with the near field scanner stuff. It's the LSI module that I use very occasionally, but it's only when I measure raw drive units. But I want to go back again to the point that what I feel is very disingenuous about the whole community, measurement people, non-measurement people, I don't care, is that everybody wants to have some kind of clickbait dumbass title, and they want to say that it's this way all the time when it's never this way all the time. It's this way sometimes, this way sometimes, and the truth is right here in the middle. And it's all about nuance. It's all about, it depends, right? Like, what's the situation? Does the change really matter? That's the real question. Because, yeah, we can show a change, but does the change really matter at the end of the day? I'll try to tackle some of that stuff at some point. I don't appreciate the very disingenuous nature uh, of audio, the audio community.